little bit of a technical glitch here. The meeting is for Wednesday, July the 27th, 2016. First item, and well, let me introduce the board members. To my left is Roy Akery, the fire chief, and to his left is Scott Stokes, the director of public works. Christiana Craddock is the executive assistant to the city administrator, and she will be taking the official meeting minutes. First item is a public hearing, variance request V16045, allow reduction of landscape strip from 15 feet to 7 feet, land lot 446, 0.40 acres, 2630 Belmont Circle, Yorkshire Real Estate Corporation. Howard Anderson is the applicant, and if Joey Stobbs wants to come up, this request has been withdrawn on behalf of the applicant.
Joey Stobbs, Planner 2 with Community Development. This application was withdrawn from the applicant as they are going to pursue a rezoning request instead of the variance due to the existing zoning on the property would not allow the uses that they're proposing, so they are going to pursue a rezoning, and there will be public hearings on that when that's submitted.
Okay, thank you. Again, this is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to withdraw V16-045 variance request to allow reduction of landscape strip 15-7 for land lot 446.40 acre located at 2630 Belmont Circle for Yorkshire Real Estate Corp. Howard Anderson.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we withdraw public hearing variance request V16045. All in favor, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V16043, allow replacement of existing non-conforming roof sign, land lot 849, 0.66 acres, 2467 Cobb Parkway, Olive Garden Site Enhancement Services. Is anyone here from that? Okay. Can you step to the podium and tell us about your first variance request, please?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Sean Smith. I'm with Site Enhancement Services, located at 6001 Nimps Parkway, South Bend, Indiana, 46628. The request today is on the Olive Garden location. We're asking to seeing that this particular location is, we're looking at the wall sign for this particular request. And what we're proposing to do is maintain the existing nonconformity, which is the roof-mounted sign. But we are looking to maintain that at the 40 square feet code allowance. I've read staff's recommendation on this, and they're favoring approval for this particular request, as in the uniqueness of this particular property. The building design itself doesn't really warrant the ability to place a sign anywhere else on this property or on this building itself that is visible to the roadway, and to identify our customers of the entryway. And that's what this freestanding sign, or this wall sign, is intended to do.
Okay.
We're proposing basically to go into the new design standards instead of, we're updating the design standards nationwide, and this is the new design trademark logo.
Any questions for the applicant? All right, this time we'll have statements by the staff, please. You can just sit on the front row there.
Applicant is requesting to replace the existing non-conforming roof sign at 2467 Cobb Parkway, which is the Olive Garden restaurant. The restaurant currently is, the front of the restaurant faces the interior of the parking lot at the shopping center, and there's a pretty significant change in grade from the road to the parking lot where the restaurant's located. And due to that, the roof is really the only location this particular sign could be placed, which is where it currently is. It's a 40 square foot sign now, and they're proposing a 40 square foot sign to replace it with. And due to those factors, we're recommending approval of that variance with no conditions. Notification's been posted and adjacent properties have been notified. I've heard no complaints about this request. So again, staff recommends approval.
Any questions for the staff? This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this particular issue, I ask that you step to the podium at this time. All right. Since we don't have any questions, can I entertain a motion, please?
Motion to approve variance request V16-043, allow the replacement of an existing non-conforming roof sign, land lot 849.66 acres, 2467 Cobb Parkway.
Second motion to approve.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V16043. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V16044, allow replacement of existing non-conforming freestanding sign, land lot 849, 0.66 acres, 2467 Cobb Parkway, Olive Garden Site Enhancement Services. And if you can tell us about this particular variance request, please.
Yes, ma'am. Again, my name is Sean Smith, Site Enhancement Services, 6001 Nimps Parkway, South Bend, Indiana, 46628. We're requesting to maintain the nonconformity existing sign, reface the existing structure. Actually, would be reducing that square footage on the cabinet itself. Due to the unique nature and what we're proposing here, instead of doing a typical face replacement, these signs aren't, they're dimensional. So the only thing, what it illuminates are the olive, the garden, and the branches. So in order to do a modified face replacement, which would be a typical pop out a plex, put in a new face in it, and do minor maintenance, we're proposing to put on a new cabinet on the existing steel, utilizing the existing steel and foundation, which is engineered to, we've looked at it, and this is what we're proposing to put on there, is safe through the engineering guidelines and the wind load requirements here in the state. But what we're proposing to do is maintain that nonconformity, the legally nonconformity, due to the topographical conditions of this particular location. As previously stated, the entry of the property, or the front door of the property, faces the interior drive. So a freestanding sign, it's important for a freestanding sign to be visible to the motoring traffic, because it's typically placed at the entrance of the property, and that usually guides the motorist to make safe maneuvers into the property if they have advance notification to make the right-hand turn, the left-hand turn into the property. That's what a freestanding sign's function is. And we feel that once you're approaching this property, the severe grade change, especially from Heerden Way, there's a significant slope and a significant grade change. And we feel that if reducing the sign from its existing condition down to the 30% reduction, which would be allowed per code, which is approximately 13 feet in overall height, we feel that the signs would get lost within the existing signs that are currently out there, and people would pass this. The wall signs and the significant grade change with the property itself and how the building setback and not being able to see the roof of the building itself. So we have a significant setback from the building. So the wall signs, and we only have one wall sign, and it faces the interior of the shopping plaza. So we feel that the freestanding sign will give us advance notification of motorists. Typically, you'd be able to allow for additional wall signs that would act add as wayfinding devices for motoring public. We don't have the ability, we don't have that luxury here, and then the significant grade change when we're going back into the hill, all you really do see is the roof. So we're asking just to maintain, actually reducing the existing nonconformity of the existing freestanding sign to put the new cabinet on the existing steel, which is engineered to hold that, to give advance notification due to the topographical conditions of this property, the building setback, the amount of traffic that's on Cobb Highway, and the amount of vehicle traffic and the number of lanes. we feel that it's appropriate that to have advance notification would allow motorists to identify the property, access it, and leave safely. It's a multi-use facility. We feel that we stand out, and due to not having additional wall signage allotment for this particular location, we feel the freestanding sign is very important.
Any questions for the applicant?
I had a question, sir. Within your, and I appreciate that explanation, but within your application packet, it appears as though your proposal for this freestanding sign, while it's accurate that it does reflect a slight change in square footage, I think just around 4 square feet difference. It appears on the application packet that the proposed new freestanding sign would be a little bit taller.
Oh.
Is that true?
That might have been a typo. We don't intend to be any taller than that. And it may have been because of the cabinet itself, the size of the Olive Garden now is shorter, but a little bit taller, and it would sit on the match plates. That might have been a typo. What we would do is be able to maintain, if that's the case, we wouldn't increase the height. I apologize for that.
So what is the...
The existing height is approximately 20 feet 3 inches.
I'm just going to have some questions for staff.
Okay.
That's all.
Any more questions for the applicant? All right, this time, Joey Stobbs, please.
The applicant is requesting a variance to replace the existing non-conforming freestanding sign at 2467 Cobb Parkway. From my understanding, the existing sign is 20.25 feet tall with an area of approximately 103 square feet in sign area. And the proposal was to replace it with a sign 21.5 feet tall with a area of 99 square feet. If it was reduced by the 30% provision in the ordinance, it would be 13.5 feet tall with a sign area of about 72 square feet. By code, a new sign is what the code allows for a brand new sign is 8 feet tall with a 32 square foot area. So it's even if it's reduced by 30%, it's still greatly over what the sign would allow for a new sign. And the 8 feet in height is measured from street grade. So whatever difference there is between where the sign is located and from street perspective, they're allowed to make up that difference so that 8 feet is measured from the road. So if it makes the sign, if the sign is a gross 12 feet tall, but it's from the road, it's 8 feet, that forfeit difference is not taken into account. But we're flexible in that regard with, topographical issues. So we're just recommending denial on this variance based on the fact that it's greater than, from what the application says. Even if it was the same height, same area as what's there now, since the ordinance allows a reduction to maintain a non-conforming sign, we are not in support of this request as it is. So we recommend denial of this request to maintain the existing area and height.
So, Joey, just so I understand, if someone were to propose to build a new freestanding sign that had never existed before, the overall height from street grade would be 8 feet.
Correct.
So with existing nonconformings, such as this situation, there is even a greater allowance for those existing nonconformings. They can say if you want, they essentially, and I'll paraphrase, but basically if you want to replace it, you can, but there has to be an overall 30% reduction. And that's the allowance for existing nonconforming by this code.
Correct.
And that would take it down to roughly 13 and a half feet from street grade versus the strict 8-foot rule for the new sign.
Correct.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so even if the proposal from the applicant kept the total sign height at the current existing, it's still well beyond that allowance within the code.
Correct.
For existing nonconforming. Okay, so by denial, you're not saying to the applicant or to the property you can't have a freestanding sign. We're just saying that it's too tall based off the code.
Correct, and we don't see a hardship for that since we do allow them to make up the difference in height for topographical purposes. Right. There's really no hardship that we see that would support the request.
Okay.
Joe, does the 13.5 include any topography adjustment, or is that just the 30% reduction?
13.5 from street grade. That's not the gross, whatever, I don't know what gross height that would be to make the 13.5 from this location. The applicant might have...
The 13.5 was derived from 30%
Yes.
less than its current height.
Correct, yes.
But there could be an addition of height based on topography grade, right or not?
The gross height could be greater than that, but the 13
Based on grade.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Can you step forward, please, Mr. Smith? And we have a question for you.
So the conversation you just had with staff was with respect to whatever you just heard.
Mm-hmm.
So have you all taken into consideration, or is there any consideration with respect to grade based on street elevation and sign height?
Well, obviously, yes. If we could get additional height based on the street grade, the 30% reduction, I still feel with the topographical conditions, and we still feel with the current conditions, the 20 feet, we could reduce the cabinet to 30. I mean, we could reduce that 30% to even 70 square feet. It's the height at this particular ingress, egress, and point that we would like to stress.
But you don't know right now what that difference in elevation
we'd have to
is.
do a topographical survey to determine what that is between the street grade, but it's a significant grade within that area. And where do you take it? I mean, if it's at the street road, if you're familiar with the area, it descends pretty rapidly. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, even if it's 13 and a half or 14 feet or whatever it is at that point, it would be on our best guess to be able to determine what the topographical condition was. So it wouldn't be completely, I wouldn't think it would be very accurate unless we got really complete topos from the grade difference. Does that make sense with the roadway?
I mean, it does. It's just, we may be talking about
a foot, maybe
foot
inches.
or two difference versus this 13.5 that
Correct.
you're stuck with.
It could be less.
Sounds like maybe a little bit more research could be done prior to this request.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. And it could be another foot we could add to it, so it'd be 14 feet. We still feel that due to the significant grade change, this property is unique in the sense that the building itself is below grade. And then we're looking at the freestanding, and then we have one building sign that faces the interior drive. We don't have additional signage that we're proposing or allowed to have on the additional roof signs to have additional visibility of the roadway. And to the building setback itself, we feel that the freestanding sign, the 20 feet, is really efficient, and it served its purpose here, and it's consistent with the current signs that are currently out there. It doesn't provide an additional economic value advantage for the Olive Garden. What it does is provides a safe vehicular tool for motoring traffic that has been utilizing that. Now they'll be able to see it and continue to see it. We're not reducing it from their plane. If you're coming from Huron Way, and you hit that light, and it drops down it's hard to see now. And if it drops down even further, it's even more significant change. And then you could drive right by that and not even know, looking at the roof, you wouldn't even know what it was, if the Olive Garden was there or not. So we feel that what we're proposing is just to maintain the legally existing nonconformity, which has caused no incidents, and we continue to think that it won't.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, well, this is a public hearing. If anyone else would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. All right, if there aren't any other questions, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
A motion to deny V16-044 to allow replacement of existing non-conforming freestanding sign, land lot 849 at .66 acre, located at 2467 Cobb Parkway for Olive Garden site enhancement services.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we deny variance request V16044. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. And Mr. Smith, I do want to let you know that you can appeal this board's decision to the mayor and council. You have 10 business days to put that request in writing to our city clerk's office, so you can do that as soon as possible if you desire for the mayor and council to hear it.
I appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V16046. Allow construction of a new single-family home on a lot of record below minimum zoning requirements, land lot 446, 0.297 acres, 3406 Creekwood Trail. Kurt and Greg Rolland is the applicant. Good morning.
Good morning.
And for the record, can you state your name, please?
My name is Kurt Rowland.
Okay, all right. And can you tell us about your variance request?
Sure. Just prepared a little statement here. My name is Kurt Rowland. My wife Lori and I are seeking to build a new home for our family of 5 on the undeveloped lot at 3406 Creekwood Trail in the Creekwood Forest neighborhood. We've actually been residents of the neighborhood for the past 6 years. Our previous house, which was sold in May of this year, is just 3 doors down and across the street from where the lot we are discussing today. We love Smyrna in our neighborhood, which is why we purchased the lot with the intent to build and live there for many years to come. We were surprised to learn that the lot did not meet the R15 minimum parcel area requirement of 15,000 square feet. We were surprised because of how many of the lots in the neighborhood are also similar size, and there's houses on all of them. For example, 7 of the 8 properties to the east of our lot are also below 15,000 square feet. Our lot is not particularly small for the neighborhood. It is 12,927 square feet, or just under a third of an acre, which is common in the neighborhood. The adjacent property to the southeast is the same size as this property. In fact, the home we just moved out of was also under 15,000 square feet. In essence, many of the homes in the neighborhood cannot be built today on their respective lots without an approved zoning variance due to the change in requirements since the neighborhood was developed in the 1960s. We have purchased the property, moved out of our house we loved, and are currently renting an apartment for the duration of construction. The hardship is that the current zoning requirements of the property no longer match the neighborhood as it was developed in the 1960s. The repercussions personally for me and my family is if the zoning variance is rejected, we have sold our house in the neighborhood we have no intention of leaving, and we will now have a lot that we will never be able to sell. The only variance from the R15 zoning code that we seek is that we are allowed to build on a 12,927 square foot lot. All other requirements would be adhered to, including front, side, and rear setbacks. The proposed house is 35 feet wide, allowing it to sit easily within the side setbacks, likely giving a greater distance between our house and the neighbors than many of the others in the neighborhood. The site plan has taken into consideration the 75-foot stream buffer, as the house is outside of the stream buffer. Our current site plan is being reviewed by city planning and the city engineer, and any requirements that may result from that review will be incorporated and implemented, including any erosion control measures. I've watched this property for over the past 6 years, and much of it is overgrown. I believe that building the house would have a positive effect on the neighborhood and immediate neighbors due to the lot's current overgrown state. My hope is that this will illustrate our intent and help alleviate any potential concerns. And thank you for the time to speak.
Any questions for the applicant? All right, at this time we'll have comments by the staff. Joey Stobbs, please.
Applicant's requesting a variance to allow construction of a new single-family home on a lot of record below the minimum zoning requirements. The subject property is 12,927 square feet in area, and the R15 zoning district requires a minimum lot size of 15,000 square feet. As the applicant noted, many of the adjacent properties are also non-conforming with respect to lot size and are below that 15,000 square foot minimum. So this property being in it matching the existing neighborhood characteristics, we've reviewed the request and do not see that developing this property would result in any negative externalities on those adjacent properties. We recommend approval with one condition, that approval of the requested variance shall be conditioned upon the development of the property in substantial compliance with the site plan and elevation submitted with the variance application. Notifications have been posted and adjacent properties have been properly notified. I've not heard any negative or any opposition from the neighborhood.
Okay. Any questions for the staff?
So, Joey, this lot of record in this neighborhood is essentially the same size that most of the lots were as the neighborhood was created back in the 60s or whenever it was, and just for whatever reason, this particular lot has just never been developed.
That's correct.
And based off of the current code, the fact that this applicant's come forth, we've realized that Section 1208 requires a variance to approve because the lot size is below 15,000.
Correct. In 2008 or about then is where this section of the ordinance was added, that any substandard lot of record requires a variance in order to be built on. So this was a pretty recent addition to the zoning code. But right, this subdivision was created in the 50s, or I think, and this property was never developed while the other ones around it were. Okay. That's the only difference. Okay.
And as the applicant stated, also within the application, the proposed site plan it'd be well within the bounds of side, front, rear setbacks. Also, even this outside of the 75-foot stream buffer.
Correct. No other variances would be required to build the home as proposed.
Okay.
And for the applicant, for the record, do you accept the one condition as stated?
I do.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. All right. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve variance request V16-046 to allow construction of a new single-family home on an existing lot of record below the minimum zoning requirements, land lot 446.297 acres, 3406 Creekwood Trail, with the condition that approval of the requested variance be conditioned upon the development of the property in substantial compliance with the site plan and elevation submitted with the variance application.
Second motion to approve.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve public hearing variance request V16046. All in favor, please vote. All right. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is approval of the July 13th, 2016 License and Variance Board meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the July 13, 2016 License and Variance Board meeting minutes.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve the meeting minutes from July 13th, 2016. All in favor, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. I'd like to declare this meeting adjourned at 10:33 a.m. Thank you.